If you're still memorizing grammar and hoping to speak Japanese fluently, stop. Because that's not how native speakers learn, and it's also not how to get results either. Let me show you a better way. My name is Sean, and I say this as a person who's born and raised in Japan, and I've helped engineers, teachers, and HR professionals go from zero Japanese to passing the N5 Japanese test. And I promise you that by the end of the video, you're going to learn this one method that's going to make your Japanese learning 10 times faster. Alright, so how are we going to structure this video? First, I'm going to talk about why grammar just fails, why it's not a good idea to study just grammar. And then second, number two, we're going to talk about how native Japanese babies learn. Alright, and number three, we're going to talk about the method that we should use. It's called pattern recognition, and I'm going to teach you how to use this when you study. Alright, so let's begin. Let's get started. Alright, so let's start with our first one, why grammar is not the way to go. Okay. So most learners obsess over grammar, but still freeze when they're speaking. I've seen it in many cases with my friends and coworkers. They come from abroad, they work in Japan, but when they actually speak the language, when they try to speak the language, they can't communicate. They've been studying all these grammar rules, all these vocabulary at home and in their own country, but when they actually speak to Japanese people, they can't communicate. Now, why is that the case? They know how to say hot and cold, atsui, samui, but they don't know how to say it in a sentence. 今日は暑いですね about today. 今日 about は 今日は today is, right? They don't know how to show that emotion at the last part. 暑いですね and I'm agreeing with the other party, the other person, right? They don't know any of these. So that kind of causes this problem. Only knowing one or two words isn't going to solve the problem. So the key takeaway is that grammar is for studying, and it's not for communication. Real communication is about flow. It's not about perfection. Okay, so number two, how do native babies learn? So how do Japanese babies actually learn their own language? Japanese, right? They actually listen first. They repeat what they hear, all right? No one teaches them particles. No one teaches them grammar. Have you ever heard any baby who learned grammar? No, because they just observe and listen to their parents. They're not learning any grammar or particle. They're not studying how to use, the difference between wa and ga. They're not learning new vocab like kuruma or, apato or like shigoto. They're not learning any vocabulary. The one thing that they're doing is they're listening to their parents, right? So instead of learning Japanese, you gotta feel it. Feel it right here. You gotta listen to it, input, feel it, and then we have output. Now, how do we do that? So let's just say that you don't know any grammar or vocabulary, but there's one thing that you can do. It's listen to people's responses. So you're walking down the street, you may be at work, you may be shopping, you don't know any grammar, so you don't know how to speak to people. But you can listen to how people respond. Things like, そうなんだ, なるほど, へー. These are all responses. They're always emotional, they're not grammatical, right? So it's easy to catch, it sounds more emotional. Now from there, what do? Now you know how people respond to things. Let's just take one word. そうなんだ, そうなんだ. Now you can learn what people say after that, right? So for the next 10 days, you're going to notice people saying そうなんだ all the time because you know this word. Now let's observe what happens after that. After そうなんだ, people usually say すごいね, すごいね, because そうなんだ means wow, I didn't know that. That's amazing. すごいね is that is crazy. So そうなんだ, すごいね. Now you know two words, right? So now you know how to use ね. Guess what, guys? It just gets better. You can use ね after any kind of adjective. Literally any. 暑いね, 寒いね, 美味しいね, 楽しいね. Like this, by using ね, you're showing you're agreeing with the other person, and now you can use it in any kind of situation. This is the power of pattern recognition. You're not learning the vocabulary or grammar. You're learning one little simple pattern, and you're applying it to all other words. This is what I wanted to talk about in number three. I call it, our method is pattern recognition. I'll give you another example. Instead of learning 食べたいです, 走りたいです, instead of remembering all those vocabulary, learn たいです. Because たいです means you want to do something, and just by knowing that, you can use it in any kind of situation. 食べたいです, 飲みたいです, 走りたいです, 写真を撮りたいです. Now, by learning たい, you've unlocked 1,000 other words that you can use it with. All right, I hope this makes sense. Do you want to watch a movie? 映画を見たいです. Do you want to have some water? 水を飲みたいです. Remember, everything's a たいです, たいです, たいです. Right, guys, so here's the best part of this video. In conclusion, I call it the 80-20 rule. Instead of what you're doing right now, which is learning vocabulary and trying to use it, study 80%. So 80 versus 20, right? 80% the pattern, and then use those pattern with other words. All right, whatever pattern you used, look for other words that you can use it with. Combine those words and use it in a sentence. All right, this is the key takeaway of this video. I'm gonna say it again. Instead of learning vocabulary or grammar first, learn the pattern first and look for other words that you can use it with. Okay, now that you know this trick, you'll make a million more friends and you'll have a million more other job opportunities. All right, I hope this video helped you, and if you like this video, please give it a like, and I'll talk to you in our next video. Guys, thank you for watching this video, and thank you very much for allowing me to serve you on YouTube. I'll talk to you in our next one. Bye.